So you're one of the real hawks on China and how to handle this. And there's been a couple of news stories out. Number one is that maybe we get a 6-month delay in new tariffs to maybe that's already been decided. But then we also hear that President Xi has a list of things that he'd like to be included in any type of trade deal. And you've probably seen the news reports. It would have to be, lifting the ban on Huawei. I can't imagine you like either one of these, either the one that President Trump maybe is willing to do or the one that President Xi is asking for. You wouldn't agree to either, would you?
Well, look, in the headlines when they say it's a trade war, as I've said for a long time, I think other people agree with this, is that this is not a trade war, it's an economic war. And now you see the CCP, not the Chinese people, but this radical cadre of the Chinese Communist Party has been running against the West for 15 or 20 years. And it's broken down into sectors. You've got a financial war part of it, a technology war, you've got the trade and tariff part of it. And to me, what President Xi laid out today, with everything that President Trump tried to do, with initiating the phone call, with actually saying that he would delay, look like for 6 months, the second wave of tariffs that were going to happen in early July on the other $300 billion, that he was prepared to at least sit down after these guys worked on a deal for 6 to 9 months and then redlined the entire thing on these verticals, which are so important to kind of restructure this and restructure the Chinese economy so it now can fit into the world economy. I think the gap between the bid and the ask is getting big, and it was big and getting bigger.
Steve,
I don't see how President Trump can agree to any of these.
That's what I wanted to ask you, which is you told the South China Morning Post that Huawei is a major national security threat, not just to the U.S., but to the rest of the world. We are going to shut it down. Given the view that I think you have, which is that it is a national security risk, when the president says that it's also possible that Huawei would be part of a trade deal, how does that happen? Is there a way to thread that needle practically?
I think it's very tough, Ross. Look, my belief is Huawei, and I think this is backed up by a lot of people, Huawei is part of the PLA. It is part of the People's Liberation Army. It is basically their 5G rollout, and that basically gives them, with One Belt, One Road, Made in China 2025, and Huawei's 5G rollout, game, set, match. They control advanced manufacturing, become the center of the manufacturing universe in the 21st century. We all become tributary states. I don't know how you do it. I think Huawei is essentially a dirty bomb inside industrial democracies. And I think we're finally waking people up to that. Here's the thing that I think Xi shows weakness. They know that if we stop these component part sales to Huawei, it could be over for them, just like in ZTE. This is the industrial democracies, and particularly the United States, we hold all the cards, okay? In the FT the other day, they said they were so disappointed in American leadership now. They had such a great relationship for 20 years. That's because American leadership gave them all the capital, allowed them to take all the technology, whether it's forced technology transfers, allowed them to steal it, and we basically allowed ourselves to be deindustrialized. You look at Elizabeth Warren, what her package is. We allowed a manufacturing base in the United States to be shipped to China. You've seen the global supply chain starting to come back. This Huawei thing, Ross, I don't know how you square it. I think it's a national security issue for all of the industrial democracies. It basically makes information the new plutonium. And I just don't see how you square that. I think this is going to get to be a very big deal, and I think that's why Xi's putting it out there as a precondition for everything else to go on. Look, he essentially retraded us on the deal that we had when they redlined and took all the provisions out on the verticals. Today, he had basically retraded us also, say, hey, they can't agree to any more purchases to close the trade barrier, that they can't, that all tariffs have to come off, right, which has been a sine qua non of Trump's policies from the beginning, say this is an enforcement provision, and now Huawei. I think the bid and the ask here are getting wider.